Innovative content. Global audience.
Hello, good morning, viewers. Yes, it's another beautiful Friday, and thank God it's Friday, like we always say. Yes, this is the weekly bulletin. My name is Princess Kessy, reaching you live from our SRO TV studio in London, the world's capital city. Yes, this is the weekly bulletin where we bring you a wrap up of the week, highlights of the week. Of course, we had a lot of trending topical and national issues over the week. A whole lot we see saw the power tussle from all parties, leading parties in Nigeria. Of course, legal issues here and there. We have economy issues, and of course, we have labor versus the federal government on strike issues, ultimatum here and there. And of course, we have a lot of statements and comments coming from the State House and the person of our dear President Tinubu Ahmed. Yes, we have a lot of issues this morning we'll be discussing on the show. I brought a lawyer this morning, Esquire, on the show this morning. I know the last time also I had a lawyer on the show, but today I decided to come with another lawyer so that we discuss some of these very topical issues and the way forward. I have with me live here in the studio, or joining me, Esquire. Good morning, sir, and nice of you to join us this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Madam Princess. And how are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, and how is Nigeria today?
Oh, Nigeria is beautiful and calm this morning, even though there was a power collapse yesterday.
Yes, that is one of the issues I was going to talk about on my show today as well. I'm planning to talk about that. And I don't know where we will live. Do you know, funny enough, I came to London, it's been going to 3 months, and do you know, I've never witnessed a blink, like not a blink. And sometimes I'll see a sound, or maybe, police is passing. I like, oh, NEPA just brought. I will not want to withdraw that statement because NEPA cannot bring light or take light here. And then sometimes I see that also I want to cook and like, okay, but I'm doing other shows. I'll say, let me go and blend this tomato before NEPA will take light. It will take some minutes before I will now remember, okay, this is London. Calm down, babes. There is nothing of such here. So I really do hope that we as a country will get to that stage in the future. It's really nice to know that here you don't need to go and iron your clothes and keep. You don't need to go and blend or do anything with the light. It will always be there, and it's really applaudable. I do hope that maybe someday we'll get to that stage. Anyway, that is the prayer of every well-meaning Nigeria. Well, viewers, good morning. Yes, we have yes, go ahead, sir.
I mean, sometimes it's not all about prayers. Prayers is good. As a Christian, I believe in prayers. I pray. But even as a Christian, the Bible says you should walk and pray. So if you are praying and you are not walking, things will not work. Now, what is happening to you is from your subconscious mind, because you are coming from an environment which is different. You are going to another environment to meet a different state. And where you are is because things are working. They are not only praying, they are also working and make sure things are put in place for their citizens, unlike what we have here in Nigeria. Now, why you called me up yesterday, one of my fears was like, would there be light for me to actually grant this interview or talk to you this morning? I have those fears. I express those concerns. But as rightly said, you over there, you don't have these issues, you don't have these concerns because their systems there are working. In Nigeria, our system is as good as collapsed. It's in a state of what we call a state of comatose. And if you look at this issue of power, they'll be talking about it right from this issue of power, right from the days of Obasanjo down to Yaradua. Every administration that come into place talk about agenda. When you hear that 7-point agenda, 13-point agenda, 14-point agenda, light is one of those issues. But up to this very moment, nothing has been done. And it's so unfortunate. If you ask me, it's so unfortunate. And
It's
it's not
it's
that
quite
monies are not being made available. These things are contained in our budget, in our yearly budgets. Every year they make in our budget, you see for power, for road, for these, but nobody's asking questions. This, if money is allocated for something and the thing is not being executed, where's our money? Nobody's asking questions. People are no accountability here in Nigeria, unlike what you have in the UK. It's because people are accountable and there are laws that regulate how things are done, and people respect the law. That is why things are working, and that is why you don't have fear of our outrage.
it's quite disheartening to know that all my life I've never traveled. I think this is the first time I actually left Nigeria. So I've practically lived all my life there before I came to the UK. And it's as if it's another world, another heaven. I'm not saying things are not difficult here, but systems are working, there are structures, there are institutions, and they are working. And now when you see a child here in the UK, eating maybe biscuits, they will hold that pack until they get to a trash can and they would dump it. I've witnessed this in the market. A child of like 3, 4 years, and then I was just thrilled. This is because sometimes too our people they don't even, maybe because the head is not too good, and then what becomes of the body. So people feel if the government can do things and get away, why am I being responsible? These are some of the issues. Now we're going to start this morning, barrister, from federal government. There's this news coming this morning. Federal government ready to acquire land for ranches and livestock development. He will be talking to governors. The federal government will be ready to acquire land for ranches and livestock as to curb herders and farmers clashes. Now, what's your take on this? Do you think this will bring a permanent solution to these herders and farmers clashes here and there?
Well, to me, that is a welcome development. And if you ask me, may want to agree with the federal government that it is a stepping stone in resolving this conflict between Fulani herdsmen and the host communities. Now, do not forget that the past administration, that is talking about Buhari, brought up this proposal of Ruga, I don't know, I think is it Ruga settlement or something like that. But
Yes.
there were a lot of debates. And now one of the debates is that how, if you are a businessman, because whether we like it or not, this cattle, this herdsmen, they're into business. Now, and if you are doing business, you don't expect me to provide the capital for you. Now, you don't expect an Igbo man, for instance, that is into spare parts, going to be the federal government and say, give me land in Kano. It's his business. He needs to go to Kano, or Castilla, or Borno State, or Bauchi, or Gombe to buy land and set up the necessary equipment. Now, government can come in if government can make finances available to them through loan and other bank draft or other issues. Now, whether or not this proposal now by this present administration will bring a lasting solution to farmer herdsmen clashes is an issue that I feel that is subjective. If you ask me, it's subjective. What are the things put in place? How do you intend to achieve these things? How? We need to know. Is it just to, is it this acquisition of land? Are you going to pay for them? Is it compulsory acquisition? We know that government have right to acquire land under the Land Use Act. Now, what if you're acquiring land, you need to pay, there's what the laws say called adequate compensation. Now, in acquiring this land, are you going to adequately compensate the owners of the land, the original owners of the land? These are questions we need to ask. Now, if you want to buy land, are you saying where do you want to set up these ranches? Where? We need to know where. We need to know who will be responsible for these things. Who are those people that are put in place? Now, because whether we like it or not, it's a good idea, it's a good development, as I've said. But we should also not forget that we're in Nigeria, where we say corruption smells everywhere in Nigeria. Now, who are those people that will be in charge of allocating this land? Who are those people that will be in charge to monitor how things are done? We need to put those machineries in place. And Nigerians need to know how you need to come about this thing. Now, because whether we like it or not, this issue of Fulani and farmers and this thing has been it has become a recurring decimal. Every day people are killed in southern Kaduna. Every day people are killed. You don't in every part of Nigeria, down to Ondo State, recently in Kogi State. So if federal government has come up with, to me, is a welcome idea. I like it. It's fantastic if it will bring peace. But how do you intend to achieve it? We need to know these things. And we need to know those that will be put in place to checkmate these issues. If this goes otherwise, who are we to responsible? Who are those that will be accountable for these things? It's not to bring fancy policies and make money available and people will loot the money and there's nobody to be held accountable for it. That is not what we are saying. You know, in Nigeria, we have beautiful ideas, beautiful policies. It's not that we don't have laws, but it's the implementation of the laws that we are lacking.
Now, sir, how optimistic are we? Because the president did say he's going to speak with the governors, state governors. How optimistic are we that we've seen over the years herders and farmers clashes that has been ravaging most of the states in Nigeria? Now, do you even think that a lot of states will want to key into this? Because they will tell you, we don't have land, or whose land are they going to spare? Whose land are they going to use? Or these people will come and take over our land eventually. The fear of the unknown. Now, how optimistic are we that people will even agree to this at the state level, sir? Can you hear me, sir?
Well, that is one of the concerns I've raised. Now, whether we like it or not, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Bad blood that has been created. A lot of bad blood. Yes, there's a lot of bad blood that has been created right from the one. Now, there's this fear of the host community trying to make land available for the farmers. Now, if that fear, we need to deal with that fear, that if we make 200 square meter, 300 square meter, 1,000 square meter available for these people, what is the possibility or the probability that tomorrow they may not wake up and say they want more? And what will happen if we refuse to give them more? Like I said earlier, this is a business. When business start expanding, they will want more land, they will want more space. Now, is the federal government want to limit it to a particular group of people? Or would federal government want to leave this market open for everybody to come into it? Now, I like the fact that you say you're in London. Over there in UK, majority of the people there that are into these things have their farm, and they bought this land with their money. They're making profit from it. We are not saying government should not help businessmen. We're not saying government should not make grant available for people. But if you make yourself available, government will give you grant. Okay, if you say you want to make land, whether I would like it or not, this issue is a very controversial issue. Now, tomorrow, my brothers from Aba Market, by people that sell spare parts, they will come up and say, we also need the land. Federal government make land available for us. So how do you balance this equation? How do you balance it? So there are so many issues that we need to look at when you talk about going into something like this. There are so many things there are so many questions that need to be answered. So many questions. So many questions need to be answered. This issue of who will pay for the land? Is it federal government that will pay for the land, or the federal pay for the land? What is the benefit for Nigerians? Is it going to be state-owned or private-owned? These are to be answered. Now, which I agree with you, Sabisa Forest is enough to cover the land mass. So government can look to that direction, and it's also one of the ways to settle insecurity over there. You can go to Sabisa Forest. Every cow we want to eat in Nigeria, you can train them in Sabisa Forest and meat and dowry available for Nigeria. But I will not release my father's land to the federal government because we want to give one man to start. No, I won't do that. And Nigerians will not do that.
I know that a lot of people certainly,
Hello, are you there?
because I know communities that don't eat cows. They don't even allow them to pass through some communities. We are aware of this, so we don't even know how that will work out. But we wait and see the policies of the president. Now, still talking about insecurity, you did talk about insecurity as ways of curbing it if they can take them to Sambisa Forest. Now, Kaduna banditry. We have closed over 200 churches, lost 23 pastors in 4 years. Now, this is coming from CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria. What do you think can be done? We've seen that over the months in some Kaduna and Benue, other states as well. But Kaduna seems to top it all when it comes to insecurity, talking about banditry, kidnapping. They've turned a lot of communities into robbers, and now churches are being burnt on daily basis, pastors, people being killed. Now, this is coming from Khan that they have shut down over 200 churches and 23 pastors killed over the past 4 years. What do you think can be a permanent solution to this?
Well, the issue of insecurity in the southern part of, particularly southern part of Kaduna, is really worrisome. And personally, is an issue that I think that all hands must be on deck for us to address these ugly men. It has, to me, there is no doubt. There have been opinions we have read on the social medias, we are listening to news that there's a lot of compromise going on here and there, even among the security agencies that are supposed to address these issues. We heard that monies have been looted, money meant for security to buy equipment to fight these people has been looted. Our military are not being encouraged. Personally, I have friends there that once in a while we talk about what is happening there. Now, but another question you need to ask yourself, this thing has not been like this before. We need to go back to the genesis. What led to these issues? We need to go back and check history. These people in Benue State, in Kaduna State, and other parts of Nigeria where there's issue of insecurity, these people have been living as one, brothers and sisters. What led to this issue? There must be something. And until we answer that question of what led to this, we cannot make progress. Now, there were issues that one of the things that led to this insecurity has to do with those people. They say that those cattle headers, they were being attacked. They cried to the federal government severally, and federal government did provide solution to them. I think that's one of the problems. And whether I would like it or not, we will not rule out politics on whatever is happening. We will not. Most of our politicians are encouraging these things. There is no dispute about this. It's unfortunate that we cannot call names, but our security agencies know those people that are responsible. They have made a lot of reports. Names have been mentioned. What have been done to those people? Up to date, nothing. People have come out to make confessions. People have been arrested. People have been charged to court. At the long run, those that went to court, we lawyers, if you have a good lawyer, there's a way you do one or two technicalities, those people will be free. But before those people were brought to court, they made some confessions, they made some statements, names were mentioned. Those people, we need to arrest them. We need to make investigation until we answer those questions. Now, aside this issue of cattle reign, we should also not shy away from the truth that this insecurity that is going on in Nigeria is because some people are trying to scare people away to illegally mine resources. We have had reports that the insecurity in Zamfara and Borno State is because people are mining gold from there. People are sponsoring them. Government can go after those people that are illegally mining gold. There have been reports that during the administration of Jonathan, foreigners were brought. Nigeria made some arrangements with some Americans and Israeli soldiers to tackle this insecurity. But the moment Jonathan left, when Buhari came on board, those plans were dissolved. Those people said it was on Al Jazeera Those people, they got a directive from the presidency that they shouldn't go after those people. And whether we like it or not, until we arrest those people profiting and benefiting from insecurity, it will not stop. And I would like you to know that this insecurity, some of these religious leaders are involved. Our traditional rulers, they are involved. Take for instance, what happened in Rivers State where a DPO was killed. And I like the action taken by the governor. The community leader was arrested. The people from the host community were arrested. Like my younger sister will always say, that the rat.
Okay, network issue. Quite interesting conversation. And we know that the insecurity issues has been there ravaging for a long time. I do hope, even in Sokoto, on the news just yesterday, we saw that people killed, houses, community bonds, houses bonds, buildings being brought down by bandits here and there. And we do hope. I don't know where to take it. I don't know what to do, but like he is saying, I really am. I'm beginning to think that yes, he's quite correct. Sometimes there was a time I had a Reverend Father also on my show that say he's very sure that religious leaders, community chiefs, community securities, they are aware of these things, because sometimes it's quite very sad and unexplainable when you see strangers coming into your community to destroy, to kill, to do a lot of havoc, and there's no explanation. Where are the chiefs? Where are the heads? Where are the youth leaders? These are some of the issues. And maybe that is why a lot of people are suggesting state policing. Yes, they are suggesting state policing, community policing rather, because they feel if the communities they set up their own security, of course they will know who is new amongst them, who is this person, where are you coming from, where are you going to. These are some of the questions that should be asked at the end of the day, because you can't just go into community and the next thing you start killing, you start ravaging people, the lives of people, your buildings, your property, and of course everything that has to do with the community. We saw that in Benue as well. A lot of communities have turned to robbers, and we do hope sincerely that security agencies will do something about that. Welcome back, Barrister. Yes, I said I agree with you, because can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I said I quite agree with you.
Sorry, the network was breaking.
Yes, I quite agree with you there that some of these community chiefs are inside. I once had a priest on my show that he said he is from a southern part of Kaduna that affirmed that some of the security agencies posted to that part to even safeguard the people are working hand in hand with the other people. So it's quite disheartening to know that even the chiefs, the community chiefs, are there, and these things happen.
Like I was trying to say, what I was trying to say is that the issue of insecurity is that most of the community chiefs and host community that are involved because of monetary value and monetary compensation and what they intend to gain from those kidnappers, from bandits, or for whatever it is. And as rightly put by you, it's quite unfortunate that people would trade human life for what they intend to gain. Now, the issue also is not just with those host communities or with the chiefs. We also need to address the corruption in our security agency. Now, take for instance, if you cannot give a soldier a pistol to go and fight somebody with AK-47, Neither can you give me stick and arrow and bow or dingon to go and fight somebody that is carrying highly sophisticated weapons. Now, I think that in addressing this issue of insecurity, aside the fact that we need to engage in dialogue, we need to engage in orientation, we also need to empower our security agency. And that is where I also agree with the admonition of the past president, His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo, that we need to use the carrot and the stick approach. Carrot and stick approach. Now, the carrot approach borders majorly on a negotiation. We need to negotiate. We need to, in as much as you cannot negotiate with terrorists because of most of them. You can't negotiate with somebody that is mad. You cannot negotiate because it takes a madman to start killing people up and down. It takes a madman to start causing violence. It takes a man. In as much as I agree, I have the school of thought that you cannot negotiate with mad people. But again, we still need to. It's a necessary tool. When you talk about conflict resolution, it's a necessary tool for us to use. So if that approach of carrot failed, then we cannot use the stick.
Stick.
Which is, of course, means violence for violence. We tackle them headlong. But again, like I said, we need to address, not just address, we also need to encourage our soldiers. We need to encourage the police. We need to encourage the Air Force, the DSS. We need to encourage them, because if these people are encouraged, the tendency or the tendency for them to take bribe or to compromise will be low. But as we have it in Nigeria, so many factors are involved. But I think the stick and carrot approach, to me, is sort of a necessary machinery to tackle this insecurity, particularly in northern Nigeria, and some part of Ondo State. But it is quite unfortunate where people just wake up one day and come and because they want to take what is happening in Okaba, if in Kogi State, and what is happening in Orinono, somewhere in Olamabo local government. I heard that iron ore is being illegally taken at the detriment of those communities, and it's causing a lot of erosion. The federal government know these people. They are not spirits. They are not spirits. They are human beings just like you and I. Those in power, names have been mentioned. What have been done? What are the steps that have been taken? Have they been arrested? Have they been invited for questioning? Until we are serious with this issue, I don't think we'll still be talking stories. Like in our local decision, now talk with the talk. Now talk with the talk.
Well, we do hope that we keep saying, we can't actually keep quiet. We cannot stop saying, because the lives of the people matters, and the life of the people should actually come first. We see that insecurity here and there. Just yesterday in Sokoto, a lot of people killed, a lot of buildings as well destroyed. So we have another news coming as well, that ASU parents protest as more university hike fees. We saw Unilag and a lot of University of Lagos, a lot of university are now hiking the fees. What do you think is the best approach? Because we are seeing the battle between ASU and federal government, unresolved issue, backlog of unresolved issues here and there. And now we're talking about students and ASU, or students and parent protesting. Now, let's not forget the fact that the economy, I'm going to come to that as well, that as it stands right now, I don't think there's anybody that is not feeling the pressure. I don't think there's anybody that is smiling or happy about the state of Nigeria as it were today. So is this the right time for a hike in school fees?
Well, if you ask me, I think the timing is wrong. The timing is wrong. I say that with all respect to both parties, and to also, whether I like it or not, to be on the side of the student, because I also pay fees. I pay for my children. I pay for whether I like it or not. One way or the other, you are affected. I think this issue, and the most unfortunate thing, like I rightly tell people, it is those that enjoy free education that are causing this problem. The people that went to school and ate chicken free of charge. Those are the people causing this problem. Our leaders, they are the problem, whether we like it or not. During their days, they enjoy free education. So why are you making things difficult for people now? Now, the same modalities, the same things that were put in place when you enjoy free education, why can't you develop those platforms? I saw a ticket on a social media the other day showing, I think I was somewhere in UI or Unilag, where you have, as a student, you have ticket to go and eat food and with your whole chicken. Those are the people that are causing problem today in Nigeria. Now, ASU, student, parents, whatever it is, I think federal government need to sit down and honor the agreement they have with ASU. Now, there was an agreement during the administration of Jonathan. What has happened to that agreement? We need to go back to that agreement and honor the terms. Agreement is binding. A songwriter once said, agreement is agreement. We need to honor the terms and conditions of that agreement. Let everybody play their own part of the obligation. I think if we go, like I keep saying, every problem has a solution. And before you settle every problem, you have to go to the basis, go to the foundation. So along the line, something went astray, something went wrong. We need to go back and address those things that went wrong, those things that went astray, before we can now come back to the table, to the drawing board, and address to this issue. Now, government increased fuel. Fuel was once something, and you increased fuel by over 1,000%. When you increase fuel, you now increase school fees. Come on, we have to be reasonable. We have to be reasonable. Now, how do you want people to survive? People are saying, okay, this is the same economy that we don't even have lights. People, in fact, in Nigeria, you do everything for yourself. You pay security, you pump water for yourself, you buy fuel not just to run your car. You also buy fuel to run the gen in your house. You buy diesel. So what exactly is the government even doing for us?
And funny enough, a statement did come from the president that we are not weak, we're strong people. We are not supposed to be at this state as of today. So it's quite an irony where you are the things that are happening. Even a blind person can see that Nigeria today is not the Nigeria of before. On the process of trying to restore according to the current administration, you're trying to restore back, you're trying to you have to go through some pain to get to the best. But Nigerians are growing. I follow the trend for days now, comments of people, and you can see that Nigerians are not happy. Nobody is happy. Everybody is under pressure. Everybody is angry because at some point you are in need, either here or here or here. There is always this need. And like you said, we pay for everything. Unlike here, I am in a developed country where hospital medication is totally free. Everything is free here, like the medication. And that is one thing. If you consider the people's health, you could go to the hospital here and eat the three. And funny enough, they will give you 3 square meal. I don't mean a meal that are not good diet, balanced diet. While you are there in the hospital bed. So these are some of the issues. You see that here people cannot. They don't pay. If you must pay, and the thing is so much, then it's £7, which is like 7,000 naira. And for everything, that is in a rare cases. Nobody pays for health care here. And now these are some of the issues. So I wonder whether or not these our politicians, they come here for medicals and they don't see these things, they don't learn, they don't take it back home.
I've been trying to restrain myself not to go to that line, but since you are dragging me to that line, I will not resist the temptation. Now, you see, what is happening in Nigeria? Our political leaders, they are worse than useless. I'm sorry to say that. And what is happening in Nigeria is not just corruption, it's wickedness. Now, I heard a story of a man that before he became minister, he took night bus from where he was to Abuja to attend the screening and every other thing. The next week, when he was sworn into office, when he took oath of office, wherever he's going to start flying first class. This is something that he knows he cannot afford. On his own money, he cannot do that. Now, it's not that they are not saying it, they are refusing to implement it. If it is not wickedness, how else can you describe something like that? So it goes beyond corruption. It has reached a state of wickedness, complete wickedness. Now, they travel every day, they see those things, they see how their things are being run, how the airport, the systems are being run, how the schools are being run, and the majority of them send their children to those schools. It is only us. They ask how many ministers have students and children in Nigeria that are schooling? How many of them? How many of our political?
I don't think they even have any in Nigeria.
If they are sick, they go abroad to treat themselves. If they have malaria, they go abroad to go and do tests. We don't even have equipment here. Even down to the, I think this Aso Rock clinic, money that was projected was looted, and nobody said anything. And what I would like you to know, this bring us back to the basis. Do we have laws to checkmate those things? Do we have laws? If people steal money, are they being penalized? The answer is no in Nigeria. Because according to Fela Nicola Kokuti, is a paddy government. You rob my back, I rob your back. If I steal today, you expose me. If you steal tomorrow, I will expose you. So nobody wants to say anything. And there's no penalty for wrongdoing. If there are penalties for wrongdoing, and it's not that we don't have the laws. We have the laws. The laws are there. In how contracts are to be awarded, how things are to be done, we have the laws. But the issue is that who is obeying the law? Not just who is obeying the law. Who is implementing the law? If somebody runs foul of the law, if somebody violates the law, it's because there are no consequences for action. And as long as there are no consequences for wrongdoing, these things will continue. These things. Now, and you know Nigeria, somebody described Nigerians as having patience for corruption. Because you have patience today, because you know tomorrow it will be your turn.
To be your turn.
Tomorrow it will be your turn. And it's a bad precedent. It is a bad precedent. It is a bad doctrine. It is a bad upbringing. These days you will see joke. Children don't want to go to school to become engineers. They don't want to go to school to become lawyers. They want to go to school to become politicians so that they can steal and lie and nobody can see anything. So you see, it has gone beyond corruption. It is now we are now in a state of wickedness. Our leaders are just being wicked. It's not that they are not seeing it. They are seeing it and they are refusing to do it.
It's quite painful. It's quite painful and shameful as well because yes, we see like I said, I tell you a story. I came here, I went to the hospital. I tell you something that over maybe 10, 15 years, they haven't seen my vein in Nigeria. You won't believe. So I try so much not to fall sick. I try so much to once I have little symptom, I'm off to the hospital. So at that early stage, we can take care of it. I wouldn't want it to surpass the stage of normal tablet, and then we're struggling for the no way they've tried
preventive mechanism.
Yes, because I don't want problem tying here, pricking all my body, my head everywhere, and then you can't find it. And I came here, and the moment they prick 1, 2, and like, okay, the doctor used a language which in lame I didn't even understand that. Okay, she had a kind of skin like a baby skin. It's difficult that they should bring a machine. Barrister, within 2 minutes or 1 minute, they didn't look at my hand. They just pulled it in. The doctor was just looking at the machine, and all the veins appeared, and it just pricked, and that was it. It was like magic. It was like a miracle. It was like I told my mom, what have I been doing in that place? That is how somebody would die mistakenly in the name of she doesn't have vein. It's not our fault. Meanwhile, these things
if I be chipping something, about I think is it yesterday or day before yesterday that is it Mohbad Abi Mohid, one Nigerian musician.
Yes, Mohbad
that died. is quite unfortunate. There have been a lot of controversies here and there, the cause of death. But again, if you from the news I've read and from the posts I've seen on social media, they say he died few hours after he was injected.
Injected, yes.
Now, the question you need to ask yourself that, and he was buried without any autopsy.
Autopsy.
Now,
I saw that report this morning. Somebody insisting that the police said if needs be, they will have to exhume the body for autopsy. My thought was, why not the autopsy before the burial?
Before the burial.
He was a celebrity, and there are so many things surrounding his death as at that day. A lot of accusations here and there. So why would he be buried in the first place?
I think if you ask me, that because talking about issue of health now and hospitality.
Yes.
So, now, if you ask me, I think the first thing is to arrest whoever administered that injection. We need to administer that. We need to arrest that person. We need to question that person. Now, we need to know what injection was given. That is the first. What injection was given? When you answer that question, you need to know when and who and how that injection is being administered. When do you give that injection? And to who do you give that injection?
And how many milligrams you're supposed to give?
Yes, we need to know the dose you need to give. And aside that one, we need to know now what are the things that need to be put in place before you administer such injection. Did you do tests? Did you check this human being? Did you check his BP? Did you check his body system? So I think the first place we should start from is to arrest, go to that hospital, arrest the person that administered that injection. We need to ask fundamental questions. Fundamental questions need to be asked. So until we do that, I don't think we will make headway. We need to, before we go to every other issues that has happened, every other issue, we need to go there first. Why did you give this injection? When and how did you give this injection? What are the dosage? We need to know all those things. Now,
because I saw a report as well. The dad, I don't know how correct is that report, where the dad, I think on social media, the dad saying he died shortly after he was given the injection. So he wants to believe it has something to do with that particular injection he took. And it's quite sad. And they said, and don't forget also that they're saying he's an auxiliary nurse, not even a nurse that a qualified, certified nurse, is an auxiliary nurse. These are some of the issues we have in the health sector. I think the health sector, our health sector should be a state of emergency. It needs total overhauling. I tell you the truth. I came here, you see, hospital, you could eat there. You could go to the toilet and lie down on the floor. It's that clean. And you begin to wonder, is this an hospital? And then when they pricked my hand, I was telling my mom, so all this while, that is how somebody would have died. So how much is it to buy this equipment and put in every hospital in Nigeria instead of referring somebody to Benin, to Ibadan, to here just to get a vein? This is not right. And you could imagine how people lost their lives on daily basis due to this negligence.
Sorry for cutting you short. It's not that it is not good to pray bad prayers. I would have prayed that COVID should come back. You know, when COVID came back, the difference was clear.
It was.
That is why we know that. That was why we know that in most of our hospitals we don't have ventilators or what they call it. We don't have it. And the ones we have, I think in Abuja, it was only in Babalada and which other hospital. And they took some persons there, and you have to bribe your way before you are given oxygen or before you are put on those things. And a lot of them died. Now, some of us are even praying that most of all those people that have been looting the body since 1999, they should all get COVID and just die. Maybe that way, whichever way it has gone, things would have started working. Now, it does that there are some things you don't pray it happens, but others, it is good for them to happen, so that we will know how to start putting things in place. We should know that when money has been budgeted for things, they have been channeled to actualize and make those things happen. Now, whether we like it or not, those things you are talking about in London, they are working there because there are laws regulating, there are laws for penalties, there are laws for sanction. If money is projected to buy 2 injections and you go and buy 1 injection, they will ask you, somebody will ask you, where's the money for the other one? If money is projected to buy a particular product and you go and buy another one, there's somebody that will ask you. The question is that in Nigeria, do we have people that are doing the same? If you ask me, the answer is no. Nigeria, as it is today, is the state of comatose. Nothing is working. We are just on a life support. And I pray that this administration, with the way they are going, they can inject some life into us so that things will start working. So that in our hospitals now, where we go to, we can behave like Londoners. We can eat in the toilet and sleep anyhow we want to sleep, and eat food in the hospitals.
Well, we hope that I don't know, but we just hope that someday in the future, or really soon today, we'll get there. Not even in the future, because people do not have the patience anymore. I think there's something called elastic limit, and Nigerians have gone past that.
Yes.
I think at this point we can't say patience, because the president keeps saying he's patient. We are going to get there. I don't think Nigerians even have the patience as it stands. And just before we let you go, sir, let's talk about labor, the organized labor. We've seen over the weeks they are threatening a major shutdown, ultimatum here and there, which even some of the workers are not finding funny. They are saying instead of this total shutdown, and they will still have to deprive us of the little earnings we're still having that is not even enough to meet our needs. Let's just keep managing. So there is a commotion here and there, and you know, I won't say division either, but what's your take? Because the federal government is insisting that we'll have to be patient. Now, Labour is saying since the subsidy cannot be reversed, and then you're giving palliative to states, which we all know that these monies as well. I said that on my last show that a lot of people know that the money will not even go to the right sources, even though I was against that palliative. Why not use the money for something else? Because we know that the money will not go to the main people. And if you are to do a calculation, you will see that the money meant the money would not be more than 3,000 for one individual. So what are they supposed to do with that money? We're millions of people, and now Labour is saying it is not right to give workers, one person to share 12 people to share one bag of rice, and you keep giving your lawmakers one person 100 million. They go home with so much, and then people are impoverished on a daily basis. Now there's this argument, and they are threatening a major shutdown. Now, what's your take on this?
Yeah, well, I would like to start from the bottom to the head.
Go ahead.
It is not that they're giving them 100 million. They're sending prayers to their mailbox, in the words of the Senate. And this is now, if you look at this issue of palliative, I think it's lack of direction. It is a failure of leadership. Now, palliative for who and to who? What is the yardstick for giving this palliative? What is the rationale?
Because this headline, okay, now before you continue, there's this headline from Leadership, Friday Leadership, that says 2 weeks after 180 billion palliatives, hardship persists in states. Governors' foot drag as residents question distribution processes. Senate carpets LLC over alleged 100 million palliatives. Now, these are some of the headlines we have.
Yes, continue.
Go ahead. Yes.
You stop. In the state where I come from, we all know that nothing has been done.
Okay.
People are asking the question, where is the money? The money has gone to voice pay. Whether we like it or not. In other states, what they did was they bought gari and granite to share for people. And you receive like one bag of rice to like 500 people to share one bag of rice. And recently, I even saw in Ibadan, people were struggling to drag rice from a moving vehicle because of there's hunger everywhere. Now, the person that is preaching patience, we need to ask him, if he's in our shoe, will he be preaching patience?
Yes, because the union is saying that the lawmakers, the politicians, the senators, they are more favored than Nigeria in all ramifications, which is not.
It has always been the case. It has always been the case. If you check statistic from 1999 to date, over 30 to 40% of our budget is spent on National Assembly. The remaining 60% is for other districts. So if you take 40% for National Assembly alone, what is left for the remaining country? And the question you need to ask yourself, what are they legislating? What are they legislating? What laws are they really made? That issues you need to ask yourself. I'm back to labor. Do we even have labor in Nigeria? We no longer have labor in Nigeria. We see, so these are just like empty drones making noise.
As Nigerians, some of Nigerians are now referring to the organized labor as a toothless bulldog.
That it is what it is. Like the man from Rivers, we say, if it didn't, they didn't. They. We don't have them. There's nothing like organized labor. We just have a bunch of hungry men that comes together and make noise, and when federal government give them something, they go back to go and settle. That is what they do. We all know this thing. It's obvious to the blind. It's obvious. We don't even have labor to even start with. Now, my major issue is why will the government say he wants to release money, palliative, for what, to who, what? If it is not lack of leadership, how else do you describe this thing? So the issue of labor is something that I really don't want to talk about, because we don't even have labor in the first place. They are divided. They are not united. All they do these days is that, according to what we have heard, so that nobody will quote me, what's on the media, is that when some set of people are hungry among them, they try to make noise so that federal government can give them something and they will keep quiet. I'm tempted to agree with them. Those are not my words. Those are what we have read and what we have seen and what we have listened to. Now, your question is in threefold. Talking about the palliative, which I've addressed before. We need to know who and who. Apart from Borno State, that we see that the man over there is doing something, which I think I heard transport has been reduced to a minimum of 15 naira to everywhere you are going to. And I commend him for that. What is happening in other states? Apart from the monthly allocation that goes there, apart from the yearly allocation, and those other states that are under the Niger Delta that still get oil allocation, you are still sending money to them in this same place that you know that there are no roads, there are no good hospitals. There are citizens and indigenous that are suffering. You gave them, you are not asking how they are spending their monthly allocation. You are not asking how they are spending oil revenue. You are still giving them another opportunity for them to stay. I strongly believe that what government did was just to settle some personal scores. It's not the government know federal government know what they have done, which of course you and I cannot sit here to tell you this is what it is. But we know what they have done. They use some of this to settle some personal thing. And the only way to make it go round is to call it palliative. Look for a name that will fit what they want to achieve, what their agenda they have set for themselves. Palliative, so they can share this money. There's no better way to call this, not to describe this thing. So there's no labor in the first place. And palliative is a scam. If you ask me, palliative is an advanced free fraud. Is a higher level of Yahoo. Government doing Yahoo.
Well, Barrister, before we let you go, current hardship may lead to serious crisis. Now, this is coming from PDP to APC. Even like you said, a layman, a blind person will understand the pressure. The street is no longer friendly because the hardship is on another level. Now, and I know APC might want to say this is anti-party policy or all that, but the fact is the fact.
Well, whether we like it or not, majority of Nigerians are suffering and smiling. It is what it is. We are suffering and we are smiling. But again, the question I need to ask you, what is there a difference between APC and PDP?
I don't know. You tell me.
There's no difference between APC and PDP.
Okay.
We just have people cross-carpeting to one place where to fit their aim and to achieve their goal. Like we all know, there's what it is in politics. There's no permanent enemy. It's permanent interest. So if you're in PDP, and you're not eating again, you will not jump to APC and you'll be crying that the masses are suffering. And when PDP is in power, you cannot jump over from APC to PDP to also say the masses are suffering. It's just like animal farm. All animals are equal, but there are some animals that are more equal than animals. So in Nigeria today, all Nigerians are equal, but politicians are more important than other Nigerians. So although what they are saying is the truth, Nigerians are suffering. A lot of people are going through. Nigerians cannot see. Now, some people say I saw one analysis where they say that Nigerians are living on $1 per day. That is a lie from the pit of hell. There are some Nigerians that they are living on nothing per week. They are living on nothing per month. They are living on nothing per year. Whether we like it or not, flights have increased, transportation have increased, food stuff have increased. Take for instance, bread that we used to buy.
Everything, healthcare.
Yes, bread that we used to buy 600, 700. Our bread is like almost, in some places, 1,500, 1,100. So how can, and this is like a poor man food. Take instant, like Gary for instance, where people buy 1 cup, how much those days? Now you can't even buy Gary from the market. Gary is no longer the poor man's food. Gary is not the big man food. So a lot of things are happening in this country now that the federal government should be careful how they treat patients until they put themselves in our shoes and in the shoes of the masses. They should not be using that word patient. Now, if somebody is patient, somebody should be patient because there's hope, there's an expectation. You know you are going somewhere. Now you are patient and there's no direction. You are patient, you don't know where you are going to. Now, just like what they say, those days is a patient dog that eat the fattest bone. But these days, they say the patient dog will just die for nothing.
I'm telling you.
So how long do you want Nigeria to be patient?
Now, on that note, Barrister, do you think that what Borno government did, the governor did, that is what they should apply that to every state in Nigeria, where instead of this palliative, they can just, of course, government is the government. They have a way of getting the fuel, the PMS. They can reduce transportation, mass transportation to a certain level across town, anywhere you're going to. This, at least, I sure will make Nigerians smile to an extent.
What I think is that there are other ways the money should be utilized. It's not to go and buy Gary and buy rice and share for people. Now, with 5 billion, you can do a lot of things in the state that all the citizens will take benefit of. And if you say you want to buy rice, how many people will you buy rice for? How many people will you buy Gary for? Now, what the Borno State governor have done, to me, is a good initiative and it's a welcome idea. If all other government can key into it, like unlike the white elephant project that we do, that it will benefit the majority of the few. So I think if they can follow what the Borno State governor have done, to me, it's a welcome idea. You have to do something that everybody will benefit from. Everybody will see. Yeah, 5 billion is a lot of money. If you take 5 billion, for instance, to Kogi State, into one local government, I use Kogi State because I'm from there and I know.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you take 5 billion to Kogi State and you do a particular project, everybody can see what you have done and they can benefit for it. Take, for instance, 5 billion. Do you know how many transformers 5 billion can buy for you? Do you know how many transformers 5 billion can buy for you? Do you know how many boreholes 5 billion can dig in Kogi State? Because whether we like it or not, we are lacking water in Kogi State. There's no light. Yeah, so 5 billion can give you electricity in 1 or 2 communities. The people will see this is what the money have done. 5 billion can give people borehole. Borehole, I think a standard borehole now is like 1.5 billion. So divide it by the number of boreholes that you can do in Kogi State. So this is what we are saying. Project are things that people can see, people can feel. You buy Gary, people drink the Gary today and tomorrow, they go back to the one. What have you done? Have you solved anything? Or you buy rice, and they cook the rice, they eat the rice down tomorrow. And you have done nothing. So like I said, the palliative is lack of direction and lack of focus. And it's a failure of leadership.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that would be a good place to wrap up the show. We do hope that Nigerian government will hear, we see us, and will listen to us. People are crying, people are yelling, people are screaming. People, I think, like I said, we have gone past the stage of a let's take a limit. There is no limit anymore. People are just, they have been pushed to the wall. And in a community where people are not feeling the impact of a government, they could resort to anything. I'm not saying that, but just maybe, they say a hungry man is an angry man, something like that. There's a saying. Anyway, Barrister,
And when you push, they go to the wall. They go to bite you.
that is correct, sir. That is very right. I've been on the show with Ojolimi S. Ape Esquire. Thank you so much for doing justice to these very topical, trending issues this morning. Hopefully, we'll have you again on another of our segment. Do have yourself a very beautiful day, sir. Thank you for being on the show. And viewers, that would be a good place to wrap up the show today. Yes, this is the weekly bulletin where we bring you topical issues, trending issues of the week. Yes, we've talked about a lot of issues affecting us as a people, and of course, a way forward. We do hope we'll see you again next time, same station. But before then, don't forget to follow us on our social media handles: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, now X, and of course, YouTube. Do also hit on the notification bell, share and like our page. Invite somebody also to the page, and do well to drop your comment. We'd love to hear from you as well. And of course, while you are out there, we know that the economy is bad. I understand we're all in this together, but please remember that peace is priceless, so let's always give peace a chance. Be nice to the next person. People are just smiling, like the barrister said, but inside they are suffering, they are in pain. So be nice to the next person. You don't need to be nice to everybody, just the person next to you, and just maybe you'll be saving a soul. And be well as well. Do well to stay hydrated, be on water, and don't drink and drive. Do have yourself a beautiful weekend. Of course, thank God it's Friday, like we always say. But while you are having fun, don't drink and drive. Do have a beautiful day. I'll see you again on the show next week. I remain yours truly, Princess Kessy.
SR TV.